This Andy's Frozen Custard 300 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, MLB, NHL, golf, NASCAR, F1, and more. Sign up today using promo code RACESGPN to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by the premier arbitrage sports betting tool, Avo. Use their tool to bet both sides and lock in a profit. Access their platform for free at arbsvsodds.com. That's ARBSVS odds.com. Plus, in honor of Masters Week, the Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter for free. Enter at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/master.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome to the middle of your week. It is, of course, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. I understand that it could not be the middle of your week when you listen to this, but it's got to be the middle of the week somehow, right? I don't know. Maybe your week starts on Tuesday, and then Thursday is the middle of your week. Maybe your week starts. I don't give a rat's ass. Listen, hi, welcome to the show. As always, we love to have you here, Cody. Save me.
We're off and running, off to a great start here. Chat's already hopping. Walter checking in. Let's fucking go. Pumped for Texas. Also says the intro music to the show is fire. Shout out to Rod for getting that set up. And our friends over at Old Fashioned Football checking in. Driving, so won't be able to comment, but here to take in all the good info, gents. Appreciate that. Being responsible while driving and listening to us at the same time. It's a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful thing. Walter, by the way, if you want to find the actual original of that song, it's called it's by Iconoclast. ICON Iconoclast. Yeah, Iconoclast. So look that up on your favorite music of choice. That music is fantastic. I have been friends with Mark for several years now, since my days of CFL, and his band has always provided the most outstanding intro music to all of my shows. So Iconoclast, go search them up and look up their stuff, because I guarantee you will not be disappointed at all.
Yes, great stuff from them. So we appreciate them letting us use their music. Rod, Xfinity, baby, let's go. The best series every week. One of the most fun to bet on. The one we usually argue about the most. I haven't looked at your bets yet. I need to do that because I'm curious to see what ways we're going to find to argue this week.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know if we're going to argue, but I guarantee you that we're going to have a couple of discrepancies on this. Although you did steal one of mine, which I'm very sad about. Good. So at least we're on that one.
All right, we got nothing. Not like last week where I'm going to edit the document and place bets against you. But I might disagree on a couple of them. So that's always good. Always good for the show.
Yeah. And well, listen, I mean, friction is always what sells, right? That Jerry Springer was not successful because he had a mundane show with everybody coming out and saying, being happy about being the baby father. No. They were all unhappy for being it and fighting about it. So yeah, most certainly love the friction in that. But I will say that there's a lot of friction. Well, so much because I don't know. Does golf swing include friction? I don't know. Whatever. Let's get a better transition than this. In honor of Masters Week, Golf Gambling Podcast guys are giving away a tailor-made Spider X putter. you can be the single most well-stocked and well-puttered guy out there on the putt-putt golf course, if that is what you so desire, by winning yourself one of these, or impress all your friends at the golf club, wherever the golf place that you go and play golf at. I don't know where that is. I don't play golf. But if you did, that'd be a lot of fun to have and show off to all your friends. You want it? Go get it. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/masters. I'm not sure why I'm so feisty today. I don't know exactly what.
It's Xfinity Day, Rod. We always got to bring the extra feistiness to Xfinity Day.
Extra spicy chilies today. I don't know. That maybe the old
we had a clips yesterday changing all the whatever shit out there to whatever. Yeah, I don't know what any of that stuff is, but changing all the auras and shit in the air. So here we are.
Hey, if anybody could clear my chakras, I'm find me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez to help me clean these chakras, because I think I'm in need of it. But yes, Cody, you are correct. We are at the Texas Motor Speedway for this Andy's Frozen Custard 300, which, by the way, the name itself is pretty damn awesome. I'm always a fan of that. And if you looked on the sliver or the thumbnail for this, I did put Mr. Cole Custer, because isn't he going to be driving the Andy's Frozen Custard car?
I believe so. And we actually had, I believe it was Big P in the chat yesterday, was saying that they went to Andy's yesterday. And his son got, yes, that's what my son ordered. It was delicious. There's a Cole Custer flavor of frozen custard. So according to Big P's son, it's a good flavor. So we're going to take his word for it. He seems like a trustworthy kid. So yeah, go check out the Cole Custer flavored custard at Andy's Custard.
Yes, do that. Well, we did
a lot of stuff.
We do jokingly call him Cold Custard. So I mean, I guess it only makes sense.
It really, again, sometimes like genius marketing just pops up in a name, and you have to go with the flow of what the name works out to be.
Indeed. Well, the name is definitely not indicative of what we're going to see on this racetrack. It will not be cold. In fact, it'll probably be pretty hot.
Well, that part. The custard part. Frozen. There might be an argument for that later.
Yeah, it won't be frozen. That's for sure. We are back on a 1.5 mile track. Again, these guys have traversed road courses. They've done short tracks. They've done super speedways, mini super speedways, bumper car courses, you name it. They've faced it the last few weeks. Now they finally get to go back on a more normal 1.5 mile paved track. 200 laps around this 1.5 mile paved track for a even 300-mile race. Yeah, I know, Nick. Thank you. No, I'd rather not know what Cole Custard tastes like.
Cole's Custard tastes like.
Oh yeah, even worse. Yeah, no, thank you.
Even worse. Excited. Again, intermediate track. Well, Xfinity provides good racing every week. I mean, the NASCAR race, Jeff Gluck's poll, the Cup Series race, was one of the lowest rated ones. I think it was 35% yes on the good race poll. So not a good result there. But the Xfinity race, again, another good one. We had plenty of action, plenty of passing. I don't know if we just need to have the Cup guys race Xfinity cars on short tracks or what, but this should be another good show this week, getting back to an intermediate. It is a Dash for Cash race, Rod. So once again, no Cup Series guys in the race. Whichever one of these four drivers finishes the best, doesn't matter if that's first, doesn't matter if it's 34th, finish the best of this group, you win an extra $100K. Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, and my guy Chandler Smith are the four drivers eligible for the Dash for Cash, based on their results last week at Martinsville. And then on the entry list, Rod, again, no Cup Series guys in this one. Daniel Dye is going to be jumping in the 10 car for Colleague.
But will his camera follow? That's the question.
Thank God Michael Waltrip won't be on the call for this race. He's got to be like Waltrip's illegitimate son or something. Like the way that Michael talks about him with like a glimmer in his eye every time he speaks Daniel Dye's name. He called him a great car or a great truck. He just got such a great truck last week. And I'm thinking, the fuck race have you ever seen Daniel Dye be good at anything other than catching, video footage of wrecks, because he's always in or around them. But anyways, he will be in the 10 car because much like RCR in the Cup Series, they decided they've been running so well lately. Let's add a third car with Austin Hill. Colleague decided the same thing. They've been doing great Xfinity here lately. So why not add an extra car, have Daniel Dye run some races? So anyways, that's I'm done talking shit about Daniel Dye now. David Starr is going to be back in an SS Greenlight car, so watch out for him. He likes to take out your leaders while they're dominating races and ruin bets for you. Not still bitter about that Homestead race with Noah Gragson. Don't worry, Rod. But then the cars that really matter that we'll be talking about a lot today, the JGR Rotators. The 19, Taylor Gray is back yet again. And Mr. Ryan Truex, of course, Martin Truex Jr.'s brother, returns for the 20 car. Corey Heim once again in the 26, and Matt DiBenedetto making another appearance in the 38 car.
Are we just going to dispense with the pleasantries of saying that Taylor is going to be a rotator from now on? I got to figure that he's earned the right to. I mean, I know they probably predetermined who's obviously going to be there, but let's just put in there, right?
Well, he's still going to be. They're still rotating, Rod. It's they've already got that whole. I think most of that schedule's already figured out. As far as which drivers are going to be in. So it is a rotator still. It is still him for this week, but won't be that way every week, unfortunately. So
I feel like he's just got to be in there. That guy's earned more than a fair share of just booting people from their rides. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you finishing top 5 in this? No? Okay. Well, then let me go ahead and drive.
Old-fashioned football hopefully pulled over to make this comment, or maybe handed the phone to Miranda, had her do it. Good to hear the Custard folks can figure out what Busch can't. I know he's very upset that Kyle Busch does not have the Busch Light sponsorship because, again, sometimes things just write themselves, Rod. What are we doing here? But anyways, Drake checking in saying Mikey needs someone to crush on now that Hocevar isn't around. Good point, although Hocevar was worth crushing on. He was actually good. Daniel died not good, so I don't know. Robert Williams, are we just going to bet Chandler Smith every week now? I'll tell you in a little bit, Robert, but probably a good chance that's going to happen again.
Well, so this harkens back to the Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek days of the last couple of seasons, right? Did we bet them every week? Yeah, because damn it, they were probably going to end up winning. Did they win every week? No, but it sure as hell felt like it. So, I mean,
enough.
Yeah, what would you rather be? Would you rather be on the winning end of a Chandler Smith bet, or would you rather not have bet him the week that he wins? So, that's obviously you'll make more of a point of it later.
And we'll have this conversation later, but to the point of, we talked yesterday in the Cup Series episode of why Kyle Larson isn't necessarily always a great bet when he is the favorite. It's a lot different in the Cup Series, especially right now, than it is in the Xfinity Series. And spoiler alert, Chandler Smith, one of my outrights, because he's got to be on your card for the price he's at again. But we'll talk about why in a little bit, of course. But sometimes it is the favorites that you want to bet on, sometimes it's not, and this is going to be a week where you're going to want to do it.
Indeed. Well, I'm tired of setting up the race. Let's say we just get to the betting card, because these guys don't need to know anything else other than what we're going to tell them when we come back from telling you about Underdog Fantasy. We love us some Underdog Fantasy on this show because it's the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the entire industry. How do we play? It's very simple, especially for racing. They're going to give us a projected finishing position on these drivers. All we got to do is pick whether or not they're going to finish better than or worse than that finishing position that Underdog has given them. And then we just continue to stack them up on top of each other. You can pick up to 5 and watch that multiplier raise. And look, you can actually cross sports in this. So you can play a little basketball on top of it and some baseball on top of it. There's some other sports out there. I don't know why you'd want to watch them all, but they're there. Racing should be your focus. But if you find little chilies by those, the earning potential that you has shoots up to 100x in certain situations. So you can play around with that and make that earning potential jump through the roof up to 100x. And better than all of that, if you use our promo code RACESGPN, you're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Get in on the action now. Sign up today with that promo code RACESGPN. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100 as well as an instant pick'em special. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with our promo code. Say it with me, RACESGPN, to get your first deposit doubled up to $100 as well as that instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Old-fashioned football pointing out the UFL now available over on Underdog. Rod, I think now that we are fellow AFL workers, I think we need to worry about getting the AFL on there. Rod and I are both going to be doing Rod's been doing Arena Football League content. I've now jumped on the train as well. So yeah, gonna need to get that over on Underdog. I think we can work that out. Rod, some rumors, IndyCar potentially, maybe soon. We're working on that as well. So Lynn checking in saying love Underdog right now. Draymond and stuff helped win big last night. Love to hear that. Again, it doesn't just have to be for racing. While it is great for racing, Rod, and they have all 3 NASCAR series, they have F1. Yeah, it's great for all sorts of sports. College basketball has been on there lately. Women's college basketball, everything you want for sports wise is on there. And if it's not, let us know what else you want to see, and we can help get it over there.
Well, and the best part about all of this, too, is that all of this research that we put into it, and obviously we give you guys a full episode of Underdog and DFS at the end of the week, but everything that we talk about here can be used on any of the drivers there to determine whether or not it's better than or worse than. Like, if I'm going to give you a finishing position here, and it's definitely inside the top 3 or the top 5, and whatever the projection that Underdog gives you, it's very simple. You can say, oh, well, Rod thinks that so-and-so is going to have a top 5 finish. Well, their projected finish is set at 7. Oh, guess what? I should probably pick better than in this, right? You can use all of this stuff to build all of this, and it's just another way to earn money. So I know it's a longer commercial for Underdog than we thought we would get, but it's worth it in the end. Totally worth it.
Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, Rod. We're ready to give the people what they're here for, the Xfinity Series bets.
Let's get some frozen custard bets.
I am going to pause 5 seconds and allow you to guess what my first bet may be if you're listening. And your guess was probably correct. Austin Hill, top 5. I mean, again, I really, if they're going to continue to give this to us, you have to take it. Now, if you don't listen to the recap show, shame on you, because you should. But we talk about this. It hasn't hit the last 2 weeks, and we understand that. But the system is not broken. You have to play this, Rod. It is going to hit more times than it doesn't. Now that it hasn't hit for 2 weeks, he is definitely due. Plus 140 over on Bet365. I know not everyone has that. If you have ESPN bet available, it's plus 135 over there. Minus 110 some other places, Rod. So get on that before it moves. And then keep in mind, Austin Hill doesn't always qualify well. If he doesn't qualify well again and that number drops, get back in on it for some more, because it's a system that has worked extremely well, and we're going to continue to do it. Austin Hill, 4th place at Las Vegas. Again, the one comparable track we've had this season. That's a 1.5 miles. It's very similar, almost a direct comparison to Texas here. So until last week, Rod, he got caught up in Brandon Jones, if you missed the race. Brandon Jones forgot how to shift. He's only been driving an Xfinity Series for 45 years. Completely forgot. Just slipped his mind. Fucked up the entire field. Austin Hill was part of that fucked up field and did not finish. But prior to that, hadn't finished worse than 8th all season, Rod. He is in contention for a top 5 every single week. Super Speedway, yes. Road course, yes. Short track, yes. Intermediate track, yes. Go-kart track, yes. Putt-putt golf track, yes. He is in contention everywhere for a top 5, and he's going to be there at the end if Brandon Jones doesn't miss a shift and fuck his car up. So, 4th place at Las Vegas. You go back to last season, again on the 1.5 miles. 4th place at Miami, again, looser comparison for 1.5 miles, but 7th place at Vegas, again, close. He was 7th here last year, close again. 5th at Kansas, 2nd at Darlington, 4th at Charlotte, 4th at Darlington 1. He won Vegas 1. He is consistently in the mix at plus 140 for a guy that, barring any type of general racing error or issue, is going to be in the mix for a top 5 at the end of the race. Plus 140. It's a steal. Again, plus 135 over on ESPN bet. And plus 140 is over on Bet365. So again, I know it's repetitive, but I'm going to keep giving it out because it works more than it doesn't. Don't give up on it, because Austin Hill is going to be there for you. And plus 140 is a great number.
So what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to just clip out
everything I just said.
No, just a blanket. So what we'll do is afterwards we'll record a blanket statement for us, and we'll just play it back. And every week it'll just be that.
You need to make it like a public service announcement where it's like, this is your weekly reminder to bet Austin Hill top 5. His odds this week are, and then like insert plus 140. Because it's, And again, yes, it's repetitive to keep giving it out, but it's a bet you need to be placing every week. And so that's how we started out the day.
That's how we start the day. Well, I'm going to start the day by picking a young man that we just talked about a second ago, Taylor Gray. I'm going to put him, much to my disappointment, over Brandon Jones because you know that I love me some junior motorsports drivers. And unfortunately, I can't get behind Brandon Jones, and nobody else should either, because when he misses shifts, it ruins everybody's day. So I'm going to take Taylor Gray over Brandon Jones. He's already Taylor Gray's 2 for 2 and finishing better than Brandon Jones in the races that they've been in. In Richmond, Taylor Gray finished in 3rd place. He started in 27th, by the way, and finished in 3rd place. Where did Mr. Brandon Jones finish? Well, Brandon Jones finished in 37th. He started 2nd, finished in 37th. And let me play this back to you too. Brandon Jones started on the pole last week in Martinsville. Hey, guess what? Finished 27th, where Taylor Gray started 16th, finished 13th.
Actually start on the pole, Rod.
I
know he was scored from the pole, but he did start in the back.
He still had speed enough to be up front. That was my point. Like, he should have been probably one of the front running cars.
Well, he was until he missed a shift.
This is why you don't miss shifts. But also Brandon Jones has not necessarily been historically great on this track. His average finish here, 16.7. He's only got 7 top 10 finishes in 15 starts. I know that that's almost half, but it's not really. But even still, the last few finishes, right? 10th, 14th, 27th, 9th. I still feel like Brandon Jones' season has not gotten off to the start he wants. Obviously, 16th, 37th, 27th in the last 3 starts. It's just tough for Brandon Jones. He seems to find that junior motorsports, if a piano is going to fall out of the sky, it's going to fall on him. So Taylor's not living under that unlucky star right now, and he's been doing better, obviously finishing 2 for 2 better than him. Yeah, okay, it's short tracks, but still, Taylor Gray could have very easily gotten caught up in any one of those. He's barely making his first 2 Xfinity starts, and he's still up there in the front making moves. So I love me some Taylor Gray. I know we took him last week in the Truck Series, kind of bit us, but I still love it. Taylor Gray over Brandon Jones, minus 115.
What'd you say at the start of your argument there, Rod? Nobody should bet on Brandon Jones. As I look down at the card, I have 3 bets on Brandon Jones coming up later on the show. But, Rod, that being said, and I will make the case individually for each of those bets, I think at the numbers that they're at, they're worth it based on a few factors. But in this head-to-head, I do agree with you on Taylor Gray over Brandon Jones, because if Brandon Jones has a great day and cashes these other bets, I'm not going to care about this head-to-head anyways. And Taylor Gray is in one of those fucking fast JGR cars that's not piloted by, again, Joe Graff or Sheldon Creed. And he's been really good. So, and actually, I've got a case to make on him as well in a different area coming up. So, despite the fact that I am going to say a lot of positive things about Brandon Jones in a little bit, as we had the conversation yesterday, a lot of times the number plays in on that because, that's obviously a big factor in placing your bets. So I do like this head-to-head, and I would take the Taylor Gray side of this as well.
Beautiful. I hope Taylor Gray's listening. Taylor, we love you, buddy. Taylor, wait, are we a Gray E? No. What? How do we refer to ourselves?
Let's see, if it's Swifties, it'd be Grays, right? I don't know.
Grayster, a Graysters. Wow. Let's save me.
I'll be at Kansas Speedway in a few weeks for the truck race, Rod, and I'll make sure to do some hard hands to Taylor and let him know that we're big fans.
Just ask him what his fan base would be called. I just want to know, because then
that is actually, if I get a chance to talk to Taylor Gray, that will be my question.
Yes.
What Taylor fans are Swifties, but what are your Taylor fans?
That's what I want to know.
Good question.
Those are the hard hitting questions.
I'll write that down right now.
Gotta love it. All right, while you're writing that down, I'll give you a second to do that. Let's tell you about our brand new partners. We are proud to partner with Avo, the premier sports betting arbitrage tool. And if you're new to arbitrage sports betting, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, it's very simple. Basically, you're betting both sides of a bet at 2 different sportsbooks to lock in a profit. The Avo tool scans the sportsbooks looking for discrepancies in the odds and then tells you how much money you need to place with each sportsbook and the expected profit for the whole endeavor. Tool super easy to use, and it's lightning fast as speed. Well, it's a big part of arbitrage sports betting. best part of AVO is it's currently free to use without restrictions. That's right, completely free. Get started today at arbsvsodds.com. That's arbsvsodds.com. That's arbsvsodds.com. You know, we are all about giving you guys tons of great ways to make money, and this is definitely one of those ones that all the sharps are going to be at. So make sure you're in on that. Gotta love it. All right, Cody, where we go next?
Another great way to make you money, Rod, is fading Mr. Sammy Smith. I'm going to take Jesse Love over Sammy Smith, plus 115. I'm getting aboard the Love train. He's
Welcome, buddy.
His fan base. Be a part of the Love train.
The Lovies.
So here is the way that I'm looking at this. Sammy Smith, for as much as I give him shit, actually hasn't been super horrible here lately, but he's also not been great. He was 8th place at Las Vegas, and he did beat Jesse Love there, who was 17th. So I will give Sammy credit for that. Sammy was 9th at Phoenix, 9th at Richmond, 7th last week at Martinsville. So again, he's been having solid days, but they're not necessarily impressive or great at all. But Rod, he finished 3rd place here last year. But yeah, he ran really good at Martinsville last year too, and then he was the Truck Series favorite in the race and ran 20th all day because he's not in fucking Joe Gibbs cars anymore. So let's keep that in mind. Anyways, so again, I'm just looking to fade Sammy Smith because he doesn't really do much for you. And Jesse Love has a high upside, as we've seen. Again, there's not a ton of races to look at for Jesse Love. Obviously, he's fairly new to the series, hasn't done a ton on intermediates, being that believe he's only 18, so he's not been eligible to run on them very often. Anyways, 17th place at Vegas, so wasn't the greatest day for him, but 4 top 10 finishes in a row after that, a combination of different tracks. Again, the short tracks don't necessarily relate, but I think the consistency of he's been running top 10s, he's been running well. We know how good Austin Hill, I just made the case with his teammate, is at these types of tracks as well. So 13th place at Kansas last year in the trucks in his first intermediate start, had a solid day that day. And again, a plus 115. If this was minus 115 either way, maybe I wouldn't be so much on the Jesse Love side of this. But being that you're getting plus 115 for, I think, 2 drivers in fairly equal equipment, let's be honest. Sammy Smith is in one of the lesser JGR cars, right? I think that's fair. If you kind of split them into 2s, you got Allgaier and Mayer on one side, and Jones and Smith on the other side. And Jesse Love in the RCR car, I think that they're probably about the same. We've seen Love be very impressive early. Again, it's kind of like the Noah Gragson thing we talked about yesterday in the Cup Series show, where not a bunch of numbers to look back on recently, or really I don't want to look at any of his numbers in the 42 because it's all about what have you done for me this year and how impressive have you been. Jesse Love is impressing me, and Sammy Smith is not, because he's just been completely boring and hasn't done much, Rod. So give me Jesse Love over Sammy Smith, plus 115 over on Caesars.
You don't have to convince me of anything. I've been on that Love train since I think the very beginning. I don't know. I feel like it took me maybe one race to get in on it.
I think we're on there at Daytona. Arturo checking in, Rod. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great, thank you. By the way, thanks for the picks last week. If you remember, he needed 3 picks to go up head-to-head against his friend. Crushed his friend with Eric Almirola. Excellent picks as always. And yeah, hopefully you play some bets on Almirola too, because those obviously cashed, and it was a good week last week. So hopefully we can do it all again this week.
Yep. I love when people crush their friends. It's always a fun thing to do, because then you like, all right, I own you. And I definitely want to. It's like Aaron Rodgers, his ownership over the Bears. Love that. Love it.
Oh, shots fired, Justin. Jeez, Justin's hanging out in the chat.
I know.
Bears getting Bears zingers thrown at him in the NASCAR show.
My bad. I'm sorry, Justin. Love you. By the way, I did get your text, buddy. I will text you back. Just on the middle of a show right now.
He didn't text me back either. It's fine.
No, I did not. I haven't texted anybody back today. Threw my phone in the river. Remember, extra spicy today. My next bet, I'm going to go Sam Mayer over Sheldon Creed. We just talked about this. We talked about this at length, especially with Creed being Creed. I honestly, I can't say anything different this week than I have said any other week. And I mean, this isn't necessarily just my love for Junior Motorsports kind of spilling out. It's literally because Sheldon Creed, despite having good finishes this season, just can't be trusted. I mean, 26th at Las Vegas, right? Which is the other mile and a half that we've gotten. Yeah, he was 6th at Martinsville last week, but I don't, that was not a sign of anything other than I think he just was pissed off anyways. But 35th at Richmond, 32nd at Austin, 3rd at Phoenix. It's just inconsistency. And it feels to me, like I said, as if Sheldon Creed is putting himself at the wrong place. And honestly, Cody, this is a matchup of who's going to get destroyed first, in my opinion. This is going to be who can stay out of trouble the longest, because Sam Mayer's not done any better. There's nothing making me going, yeah, this is the smash part of it. But I'm thinking that Sam Mayer may keep himself out of trouble more than Sheldon Creed. Sam Mayer actually did finish 2nd at Martinsville last week. And he had a terrible finish at Las Vegas as well. So 2 top 10 finishes in 7 races this season for Sam Mayer. Again, not the greatest for either one of these guys, but this is my who can stay out of trouble the longest. And I feel like Sam Mayer's got way more potential to stay out of trouble the longest than does Sheldon Creed, because I know that Sheldon Creed just can't seem to stay out of trouble in this 18 car. He should be able to do it, but he doesn't. Sam Mayer on this track, bad luck last season. He started 6th, finished 38th. He crashed out, but before that, 8th place, 3rd place, 13th place finishes for Sam Mayer on this track. Sheldon Creed, of course, you can take a lot of what he did and kind of throw it out because he was in the 2 car in this one. But in this particular driver, he's got 3 starts on this track, 2 top 10 finishes, a 7th and an 8th and a 26th, all in that 2 car. But I don't know. Like I said, maybe this is just me taking Junior Motorsports over Sheldon Creed, but I'm feeling more comfortable with this. I feel like Sheldon Creed's not been delivering consistently lately. Neither is Mayer, but I think Mayer gets to turn around faster than Creed. So give me Mayer over Creed at -125.
Yeah, I mean, both of them ended up with decent runs last week in Martinsville, but Creed kind of at the end showed his colors once again. Doesn't know how to just finish a race nicely, right? He goes around trying to spin people out, wrecks himself basically at the end. Mayer, a nice, strong 2nd place run. I think that he's definitely due for, to continue to do that. And we know Sam Mayer is over talented. He won 4 races at the end, all at the end of last season. It's been a very, very rough start to the season for them. But once he gets things clicking, watch out. And that's something we've been talking about for a while with him. And I think positive coming off of a 2nd place run last week. And Creed is just a guy that you can't trust, Rod. We talked about that a lot last season, and it's carried over to this season as well. Robert with a question here. Do you guys think that the drivers bet on the races? Hamlin on his podcast was talking about bets. I can promise you they do not. Well, they're definitely not supposed to. Ask Pete Rose how that goes, right? NASCAR has very strict rules against it. So if you notice, the bets he was talking about were golf bets, so completely different. If you listen to Steve Letart's podcast at all, he doesn't ever talk about betting on NASCAR because he is involved with Spire Motorsports. He's also involved with a TV partner. He's not allowed to bet on the sport either. So he'll ask what they think about bets or bring up bets and ask what other people think about it. Or he'll talk about how he likes a driver, but he'll never actually talk about placing a bet or he would bet on this because he's not supposed to. I know we've had some chances to talk to people, that have wanted to talk to us that work for teams. And then the teams come back and say, no, because and we say we won't talk about gambling. We just want to talk to the people, right? And the teams don't even want to be associated with it because gambling is in our name, which is unfortunate. But yeah, they're definitely, NASCAR has very strict rules against it, even though NASCAR embraces the gambling, right? And wants it for the fans, but the drivers are not allowed to talk about it. And so they will, talk about betting on it. So they're always very careful in how they word things. If you notice that, if you pay attention. So, Rod, to continue on the Sam Mayer point, I'm also placing a bet on Sam Mayer. I'm going to take Sam Mayer to be the top finishing Chevrolet at 6-1. I'm also going to take Brandon Jones to be the top finishing Chevrolet at 10-1, despite the fact that Rod said nobody should bet on Brandon Jones. I disagree with you, but mostly because of the number. So, again, even though Chevrolet has the most cars in the field, it's not super strong up top. So you look at the top and you got Justin Allgaier at plus 185. I think we can all agree he should be the favorite. But Rod, should you bet on him based on what you've seen from him this season? I definitely would not. Austin Hill's only plus 340. I would still definitely consider that if you want to go ahead and get full in on the Austin Hill train. And then Sam Mayer's the next guy at 6-1. So you're telling me all Sam Mayer has to do for cars that are better than him is be Justin Allgaier, who's had a lot of bad luck, hasn't necessarily performed greatly, and Austin Hill, who we know can perform well, should be around in the top 5, but Sam Mayer can do a little better than that, I think, for sure. Then you've got AJ Allmendinger, again, colleague, zero interest in that on a intermediate track. Sammy Smith, I just got done shitting all over him. And then it's Brandon Jones next. Then you got Jesse Love, who, while I made a case for him earlier, I don't know that he's going to be, in the competition for the win. And then it's Kligerman, Retzloff. Like, there's not really much competition after that. I don't know if you noticed where I stopped on the list, Rod. Well, you're probably not looking at the list like I am, but not going to go any farther than that for Chevrolet drivers. You're welcome. So I think 6-1 for Sam Mayer. There's a lot of value there. And also for Brandon Jones at 10-1. I think there's a lot of value. Again, it's one of these things where this is a very large group, but you're kind of making it a smaller group by thinking there's only a handful of these guys that can actually get it done. Sam Mayer, again, second place last week. Did they fix the troubles? Did they get it turned around? It's a one race sample size, right? So we'll see. But he did have a wreck here last year, so that's unfortunate. But he won Miami at the end of last season, 5th place at Las Vegas, place at Michigan, 3rd place at Nashville, 7th at Las Vegas, 1, and 2nd place at Auto Club as well. So Sam Mayer has had some really good finishes on intermediates. Again, we know what he's capable of. And if he starts running like he should and winning 4 races like he did at the end of last season, you're not going to get numbers like this on him. So good chance to get in now. For Brandon Jones, Rod, 7 top 10 finishes and 15 starts here. Last season, he was 9th place in the fall, 9th place at Las Vegas last year, 8th place at Miami, 8th place at Las Vegas in the spring, 3rd place at Michigan, 2nd place at Kansas. So he's got the ability to run really good. For Brandon Jones, it seems like Martinsville and then intermediate tracks, like the Kansases of the world, the Michigan, more so those ones. And those are a little bit different, a little bit higher tire wear, and they're more high speed than Texas is, but they still translate fairly well. And I think the Brandon Jones can show up. I think at 10-1. Again, while I do like Gray against him in the head-to-head, and you could still cash both of these, Gray is going to be more reliable for sure. Brandon Jones might miss a shift and fuck everything up, but he also has the ability to get good, solid finishes. And I know a lot of those were in JGR equipment, but he's been okay, at least in the JRM equipment. It's not been the same for sure, but he is still capable of it. And again, 2nd place last year in that JG or JRM equipment, 3rd place in Michigan. He can have good, strong finishes like that. So the Toyotas go out and dominate this race, Rod, which probably is going to happen. Brandon Jones ends up being that top finishing Chevy at 10-1, or Sam Mayer at 6-1. I think both those are good bets.
Yeah, I won't argue with you on either one of those. Obviously, because I do have, Sam Mayer over Creed, and I think Sam Mayer's got a better shot at a top 5 finish than does Creed. So I like that, and that may be good enough for a top Chevy. All right, I'm going to talk about my buddy AJ Allmendinger, who I also think could be a top 5 car this week. This is at plus 190. This is just a numbers game for me because the top 5 numbers, not the greatest. I see you shaking your head over there, Cody. I don't really care. I'm going to take him for sure. Why? Because the last time he was out on this track in 2022 as a full-time Xfinity driver, he did get a 4th place finish on this track, led 34 of those laps. He's had 2 6th place finishes after starting on the pole. He's on laps in 3 of the 4 races that he's been on in this one. Again, I know 6th place is not a 5th place finish, but those is just one spot outside. One crazy thing happens. He slides up into that 5th place spot. So again, he started out at 2021 with a 6th place finish, 2021 in the fall, a 6th place finish, started on the pole in both of those. So guess what? He was a fast car that day. And the only one that he didn't finish inside of the top 6, he finished 9th. He didn't lead any laps that day in 2022 rather. And again, to me, like I said, AJ Allmendinger this season, it has been one to forget for him. His average finish, 15.3. I know they're not chasing trophies the way they think they're chasing trophies, but at least they're chasing participation trophies, which they're collecting in spades. But AJ's got to turn this around. And it's not like he's totally far gone. Drake, I know, colleague sucks. It's not the great. But at the same time, they're not a total trash team. They definitely have been good before. And listen, over the last few weeks, he had a 6th place finish in Las Vegas, one place out of a 5th place finish. As we're talking about mile and a halves, he was just one spot outside, but he did start 3rd, which means he was a fast car on that mile and a half track. And so, again, I'm kind of basing it off of that and his past performances here on this track. AJ's too proud to not run well. And I think that 16 team maybe had to go back and do a little bit of self-reflection, especially after the last couple of weeks. Last week in particular, he crashed out of Martinsville, finished dead last, 36th place, right? It was a terrible, terrible day for him there. Richmond, he started 7th, ended up finishing 14th on a road course where he should have absolutely dominated. He finished 10th after starting in the top 5. So this team probably had a lot of heart-to-hearts. And I think AJ picks this track in particular where he's run well. Look, he's running the top 10 every single race that he's been in the Xfinity Series, all 4 of those. That's not too far away from a top 5 finish if something happens. And like I said, last season or the last time he was on this, he led 34 laps. So he can get around this track and he can lead on this track. So I think he can finish inside of the top 5. Give me that number at plus 190. I think I'll take that.
Right, I think Drake said it best. Colleague sucks. The biggest difference between Colleague in 2022 and Colleague in 2024, Colleague in 2022 was actually hashtag chasing trophies. Now Colleague in 2024 is hashtag don't give a fuck. I think that's actually probably the hashtag they should use when it's not a road course because they suck everywhere. I will say he did have a 6th place finish at Las Vegas. So that is the one part of the argument that can stand up and maybe make this bet okay. But man, only not even 2-1 for a guy that's in equipment that is, I mean, Colleague has given up basically. What have you seen from them that tells you they've not given up? I mean, Daniel fucking Hemrick is in their Cup Series car for one. That's really the extent of all you need to know about how Colleague feels about themselves is they put that guy in a fucking NASCAR Cup Series car every week. And yeah, anyways, I don't like this bet. I have no faith and belief in Colleague. I think that road courses are a different story. I think they're always going to be good at road courses because of the drivers they have. AJ Allmendinger, SVG, they're going to show up and be good with those guys. Outside of that, I'm just not interested in it, and I don't think the number's big enough. Rod, some bigger numbers I do like. Guys that I like a little more for top 5s. Brandon Jones, once again, I'm going to talk about him at 3-1. I kind of made the case for him already to be the top finishing Chevrolet. I think that goes hand in hand with being the top 5. Again, while I did like the Taylor Gray side of the head-to-head, I think at 3-1 for a guy that's got the upside and that specifically is good at mile and a halves is a good bet. And also, speaking of Taylor Gray, I like Taylor Gray. Top 5 over on Bet365. Plus 375 for Taylor Gray. Rod, he is in a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota that's really fast and even more so fast on intermediate tracks. We've seen guys like Ryan Truex get it done. We've seen guys like Trevor Bayne get it done. Taylor Gray's already been running extremely well. Yeah, he had a 15th place finish or whatever it was last week. Martinsville, it's not comparable. I don't care. 3rd place in his first start at Richmond. While that's a short track, it's at least a little closer in size to this one. But I think he's going to be fine. I think that car is going to be extremely fast. And, man, there's going to be 3 really fast JGR Toyotas this weekend. I'm super excited for that. So love Taylor Gray, top 5 at plus 375. I think you're getting a hell of a deal at a price like that for a car like that with a driver like that. Just a great combination. And yeah, love that bet.
I mean, again, we're riding the hot hand with Taylor Gray. He may not have been completely on fire the last time he took the track, but this guy has been driving solidly, not just in the Xfinity Series in the couple of starts that he was in, but in the Truck Series all season long. I mean, a couple of bad breaks put him in bad positions in the trucks, but I mean, this guy's driving his ass off no matter what he's in. So I definitely never hate a top 5 bet for Taylor Gray at all. Speaking of somebody who I think should come around in this particular race, the namesake of the race itself, Cole Custard, top 3 car, plus 160 for Cole Custard to be a top 3 car. We haven't really talked about the defending champion very much this season. We haven't necessarily tossed his name out, and it's kind of for good reason because Cole Custard this year hasn't necessarily been all that impressive, and yet he has at the same time, right? 13th place at Daytona, 16th in Atlanta, so a couple of bad starts, but then all of a sudden, he started on the pole, finished 2nd in Las Vegas. Did you remember that? Some people probably don't. I know Hillshire Farms or Pepperidge Farms remembers that Cole Custard
Rod
finished.
doesn't remember what farm it is that remembers, but
I remember that it was Animal Farm that remembers. But he started on the pole, finished 5th in Phoenix, right? Again, another top 5 finish that people probably don't remember because they're thinking about all the other stuff that went on the road course in Austin, right? Started 8th, finished 4th. Did you know that? Probably not very many people did. This has been the sneakiest run of top 10 finishes, I think, in the series right now. He's just this stealth guy that's lingering.
He is like the quietest, just consistently okay guy ever. Like he doesn't dominate races. He'll pop up and grab some wins here and there. But like he's going to be top 5, top 10 every single week. You don't have to worry about it. Like he's going to be there, win the championship at the end of the year. But like just not overly dominant ever. It's so strange.
Yeah, led 61 laps at Phoenix, 27 laps. Did you remember that he led 27 laps in Martinsville yesterday? No. Or last week? No, because he did it very quietly. I think the car was in camouflage mode the entire time. He even started on the outside pole and finished 8th. So listen, all I'm saying is that I think that this is a good way for him. And he's actually been quite the same way on this track over his career. 6 top 10 finishes and 7 starts, 4 top 5 finishes, and 1 win. Average finish is 9th, but last season he got a 6th place finish, led 28 laps, but he started 3rd in that race. The year before that, in 2019, actually, because he was a full-time Cup driver a couple of seasons, but he started 4th in 2019, finished 8th. He did get that win in 2018. He had a 4th place finish in 2018, 5th place in both 2017 races there. But, again, the reigning champ is just going to be there. I'm thinking that this is going to be an opportunity for him to reassert some dominance and pick up a win to get himself into the playoffs so he can continue to just be stealthy the rest of the season and get to the championship run again that same way that he did last year, just by being consistently good, popping up and winning a race, and then getting himself back down into mediocrity before he heads into the championship run.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Custer, again, he's one of those guys that's tough to peg, but he's going to be hanging out in the right area. So I don't hate it for the number that it's at by any means, Rod. Something that just completely baffles me, Rod. If you go to the winning manufacturer bet over on Caesars, they've got Chevrolet as the favorite at plus 105. Let's review, Rod. Who's driving Chevrolets this week? We mentioned them earlier, right? Justin Allgaier. Okay, makes sense, right? We know he can win on a mile and a half. We know he's fast week in and week out. Is he always reliable? Not so much. Austin Hill. We know he's going to be good. He's not a bet for a top 5. He can win for sure, right? Okay. Sam Mayer. Okay, he can win, right? Made a case for him to be good. AJ Allmendinger drives for Colleague. Sammy Smith. Brandon Jones. I'm going to make the case, but come on. Jesse Love. Yeah, it's probably a stretch that he wins here. Outside of that, who's winning, Rod? Okay, I have no answers. Toyota plus 165, Rod. Plus 160. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's look and see. Well, but Cody, there's only 5 Toyotas in the race. Yeah, but they're all 4 of them are going to be fast. Chandler fucking Smith. Okay, he's going to be good. Ryan Truex, he's been good every time he's got in this car. You covered on Sheldon Creed just in case he randomly decides to win. Taylor Gray, we just got done raving over him. And Corey Haim's not been bad in that 26 car either. How do you not take Toyota at a number like this, Rod, at plus 165? Are you kidding me? Let's review. I've got some statistics here. Let's go back and take a look at how this season has gone. We opened the season with 2 super speedways, Rod. Who won those? I don't care because I zapped my mind of it and it doesn't matter. After that, Las Vegas, John Hunter Nemechek drives a Toyota. Then we went to Phoenix. Chandler Smith drives a Toyota. We went to Coda. Kyle Larson comes in, gets a win. It's a road course, whatever. We went to Richmond, Rod. Chandler Smith won, drives a Toyota. Then we went to Martinsville. Eric Almirola won, drives a Toyota. I don't know if anybody else is noticing the pattern here. Fucking Toyota is good. What are we doing? Not convinced? Fine, Rod. Let's go back to last season. Let's look at the mile and a half tracks. Texas, John Hunter Nemechek, Toyota. Kansas, John Hunter Nemechek, Toyota. Darlington, Denny Hamlin, Toyota. Michigan, John Hunter Nemechek, Toyota. Auto Club, John Hunter Nemechek, Toyota. 165 to win. If you place one single bet on sports this entire weekend, Toyota to win the Xfinity Series race plus 165. I don't know how you don't bet this. It's insane that they're even hanging this, and that Chevy is somehow the favorite. I get they have 100 cars, Rod. Come on, are you kidding me?
Well, and full disclosure, that's exactly the bet that I was going to put in that box, but you had already had it. So, because again, you're right. With all these Chevys, Kelly's Stroud saying too much banter.
Too much banter. Kelly, I don't know. This is episode 388, so not been a super successful show. We cashed lots of bets. Lots of bets. 80 to 1 winners. I don't know, Kelly.
You don't know, Kelly?
No.
All right, Kelly.
You know,
this
Kelly?
show's not for you. I don't know, but this show's not for you.
If you don't like the banner, see you the fuck later. Like, really, I don't care.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what the show is, buddy. So if you don't like free winners, then fuck off, I guess. I don't know.
we are extra feisty today. So
I just okay. So there's like 10 billion shows on YouTube. Like, go find something fucking better then. So anyways, the rest of the chat though, Rod, I love them.
Yes.
Huge Mistake Gaming. Hey. Nick Fortune in the chat saying good afternoon. Robert loves the Tay Gray. Ooh, Tay Gray. I like that. We might have to go with that. Jack Wood is the winner, Nick says, and realized he's in the wrong series. JB saying, wow, I believe that was to Kelly's comments. So.
Probably.
See you later,
all right.
Kelly. Or probably
say bye, Kelly. Bye. All right, I'm going to move on to my next one because, like I said, I did have the winning manufacturer as Toyota because, again, that number is just way too crazy for a manufacturer that's won the majority of the races this season. So love that. And then I'm going to go a completely different way because I'm going to hedge off of that a little bit by giving you many, many Toyotas in this next range. I'll go winning number is at 0 to 9 at plus 110. These number ranges aren't necessarily all that great as far as the value that you're getting on some of these. So I'm just taking the plus 110 on 0 to 9 because you get Cole Custer, you get Sam Mayer, you get Jesse Love, you get Justin Allgaier, you get Sammy Smith, you get Brandon Jones. That's a heavy batting order.
How many Toyotas are in that range, Rob?
And I understand that. But again, like I said, this is a hedge. This isn't I think this is going to be your biggest bet of the week. But if you want a little bit of action on some people that aren't Toyotas, this is the way to get in on it. And, I mean, you had actually named a lot of the guys when you were talking about the top half of the Chevy of people that could win. Those are the top half of the Chevy that could win, right? The Allgaiers of the world, the Mayers of the world. Jesse Love could accidentally win this race and get you something good. So, just saying that there's a possibility that these guys could win. It's not set in stone that a Toyota is going to win this race, albeit it's a very, very good chance, which is why you should definitely place that winning manufacturer Toyota bet, which is why I was going to give it out. But if you would like to actually, just spread your units around and hedge a little bit here and there, this is a good one because it gives you a lot of potential fast cars in the top of this pack. A lot of these guys are going to be in the top 5, top 10 conversation for most of the day. And I'm just saying this is a good bet to place, in my opinion, especially because it's still plus money at plus 110. So give me the winning car number 0 to 9 plus 110.
Yeah. I wanted to really argue against this, but you actually made a decent case. So props to you for that. Sorry for the banter about this pick. I mean, we should just give it to you and not tell you why we're going to take it. But I don't disagree with you because there is a lot of drivers in that range that have the capability to win for sure. There's not really a good way to get in on Gibbs. I mean, they've got all the Gibbs cars split up into 3 different groups. So it makes it tough as far as that goes. So if you want to bet on one, this is definitely is not a bad number range just because of the number of guys that you're getting in there.
Indeed. Although I like Dan Aykroyd had chimed in too, says he always does Toyota over Chevy just in case the Custard factor. We'll talk about that in a second, but I think that's a good
what
good
number?
one.
What is that number at? Do we
Toyota
have,
over Chevy.
I
saw it on
right
Caesars.
now.
Did you see it on Caesars?
No, I'm looking at Caesars now. I don't see it. So maybe it's.
It might
anyways,
be.
We'll find later. But yeah, I mean, not a bad way to look at it by any means as well.
Yeah. All right. I guess all that's left to do is banter about winners, Cody. So where are we bantering next?
By the way, I love the chat that's standing up for us. So we appreciate you guys. And we do love new listeners. Really, we do. And maybe Kelly will realize the error of their ways and learn to enjoy the show. But this is how it is. We're probably not going to change that. So, all right, Rod, winners, which we give out a lot of. Hopefully,
wait.
around for this.
Hold
part.
on. Let me banter about this real quick. Toyota over Chevy plus 105 on Caesars. Oh, that might be.
Are we that a plus
the Chevy
160?
side of it is minus 135 though,
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Are we that worried about Cole Custer and Riley Herbst? I mean, they can win, sure, but I'd probably rather just take the plus 165 on any manufacturer, but not a bad way to do. Should do both, even if you want to, and though you're covered. But okay, Rod, winners. Let's give out some winners. Chandler Smith plus 320. Look, we mentioned it early in the show when it was brought up. Do we just bet on Chandler Smith every week? And the simple answer is yes at this point. If they're still going plus 320, like they're still giving us a good number like this. Rod, I just read off the list of winners this season on any normal track that's not a super speedway or a road course. It's been a JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing, if you don't know, Toyota. And if it's not Chandler Smith, it's been Eric Almirola and John Hernimacek who are not in this race. Chandler Smith continues to show up week after week. He's been good at these tracks. His worst finish this season, Rod, 8th place. He led 74 laps last year at this track in a Colleague Chevrolet, by the way. And he was 4th place at Las Vegas earlier this season, won at Las Vegas last year. He was 4th here in that Colleague Chevy last year as well. Also, extra 100K on the line. He is one of those dash for cash guys. Again, it's chalky, but we're on quite the streak of hitting the winner every week because sometimes you just have to bet the guys. And I mean, you've got Allgaier there, you've got Custer there. They don't concern me that much. Those are really the only two guys I can see kind of straight up beating him head to head that aren't other JGR Toyotas. So feel pretty good about that. Obviously, you've got the winning manufacturer bet already. You toss Chandler in there as well and take that. In case he doesn't win, Rod, we know it's racing. They run the races for a reason. Sometimes things happen. Ryan Truex is fast every time he shows up in these cars. He's 8-1 over on Superbook. He's got he had 6 starts last season. He won Dover, was 2nd at Phoenix. And, a couple of those other starts were super speedways and stuff, but 1st and a 2nd place in 2 of his 6 starts on normal quote unquote tracks for Ryan Truex last season. 6th place here in 2022 as well, driving one of those JGR Toyotas. He shows up fast. They show up fast. They're going to be the best. I mean, again, it's going to be pretty shocking to see that they would not be the best cars. I think at 8-1, you're getting a good deal on Truex as well. And then I toss Brandon Jones in there at 25-1. Again, the same argument as earlier. Do I think he dominates this race and runs up front all day? No. But do I think he can put together a solid day? He's one of these guys that's kind of checkers or wreckers, right? He's either going to be battling for it or he's going to finish last place. That's why you take 25-1s on him, because if he doesn't do it, then fine, whatever. But I think he'll have a chance to be there at the end at 25-1. I think he's worth a sprinkle as well.
Yeah, again, you just build a nice little portfolio around drivers and you can figure out ways to definitely, profit off of it all. So I like that. Like all 3 of those. I'm going to just toss in Cole Custer into the mix, plus 550. Here's what's crazy about this, right? So Chandler Smith, obviously the favorite, plus 320. Definitely no surprise there. But I am a little surprised that Justin Allgaier is at plus 375. Again, I bleed for Junior Motorsports, but there's no reason that Justin Allgaier should be up that high. And that's fine. That's fine, because guess what? A guy like Cole Custer hanging out there at plus 550 is a good value to me in that, like I said, he's run well at this track. He's put himself in the top part of the track, top 5, top 6, top 10 every single time. So all he needs now is just to pop up and get that win at this track so he can go back down and finish in the top 5, top 6, top 10 of all of this. And like I said, the number for me, that's good. And so also that kind of goes along with what Dan was talking about, the Custer factor. This is kind of covering for that Custer factor, just in case he decides to make a run at it and a late run and grab the win out of the way. So I like that. Like I said, a plus 550. I already have him as a top 3. So if he finishes in the top 3 and doesn't win, that's fine. But at the same time, I don't know why I'm inclined, but I'm inclined to take a chance on Cole Custer. Maybe it's because of the fact that this is the Custard narrative, and he'll have the sponsor on his car. We saw Dude Wipes a ton with Anthony Alfredo, right? And the Dude Wipes 250. So this is definitely going to be one of those situations. But Cole Custer will be running up top in this instance. So the sponsor will be happy because they'll see that car, that 0-0 car running up front. And I think, like I said, he could end up taking the checkers this week. So plus 550 for him to win the race.
I don't know. Plus 550. Like if he beats me, he beats me. He's so tough to predict when he's actually going to show up and be good, but we know he can do it. So don't hate it. Bet365, by the way, Rod, does have a winning car number over under. It's set at 9.5. So if you want to take the over, it's minus 140, juiced up a little, but you get all those Toyotas in there. You get Austin Hill in there. You get Riley Herbst in there. Really, that's all that matters because those are likely the ones that are going to do it. Drake bringing up the Ryan Sieg disrespect. So Ryan Sieg is 12-1 for a top 5. I think that's definitely worth a sprinkle. We saw him finish 7th at Las Vegas earlier this season. Again, try and get our man on the inside to let us know if they're bringing a Stewart Haas car again. So make sure you're tuned into the Discord, because if that's the case, then you're going to want to look at it. But go back and you look at his recent finishes at Texas. I mean, 11th last year, 9th in 22. He's got a couple of top 10 finishes, or right at 10th place. Again, if there was top 10 bets, yes, you'd love to be on him. 12-1 though for a top 5. It's definitely worth a sprinkle and worth a look for the number for a guy that's a solid driver. If it ends up being a chaotic race, he says he was being sarcastic. I'm not. I'm actually being serious. So there you go. Ash checking in, our friend from across the pond. Evening, lads. Late to the party. Truex top 3, top 5 finish. Truex over Creed. Ooh, I did not see that. I love that. Truex over Creed.
Yeah,
I would definitely hit that. But yeah, I love Truex. We talked about him just a minute ago here to outright win at 8-1. So definitely a guy that we're looking on. The chat's also speculating that Kelly fell off a cliff, which is too bad. I was just about to ask Kelly where their podcast was so I could watch their picks. And probably like a 5-second podcast, right? You just give out the picks, and that sounds really entertaining. So, man, sad we missed out on that.
Yeah, me too. But I will say, let's banter some more. Get out your pen and paper. We're about to go over the bets. So this is the part of the show where you just come to this. If you don't want any of the banter, just come straight here. I even put the time code.
Kelly missed the best part.
I'm telling you, all you got to do is hit this one button right here. Go back through every show. I give you the time code and everything. Get out your pen and paper. We're about to go over the bets for this Andy's Frozen Custard 300 from the Texas Motor Speedway. Cody started you out with the old favorite, Austin Hill, top 5 at plus 140. I gave you Tay Gray over Brandon Jones at minus 115 with a little heart over it. Cody followed it up with Jesse Love over Sammy Smith at plus 115. I said that Sam Mayer would finish better than Sheldon Creed at minus 125. Cody gave you Sam Mayer as a top Chevy at 6-1. Also tossed in Brandon Jones as a top Chevy at 10-1. I said that AJ Allmendinger would finally crack the top 5 this week at plus 190. Cody said that Brandon Jones would finish inside of the top 5 as well at 3-1. I said Cole Custer would be a top 3 car at plus 160. Cody also said that Taylor Gray would be a top 5 car, and that Toyota would be the winning manufacturer at plus 165. I said the winning car number would be fun to bet at 0-9 at plus 110. Cody gave you Chandler Smith at plus 320, Ryan Truex at plus 800, and Brandon Jones at 25-1 to all be winning cars. And I gave you Andy's Cold Custard at plus 550 to win this race. Far be it for me to banter anymore, Cody. We should probably just tell everybody to go home. Get out of here. We hate you.
Take your picks and get down the road. Robert says, thanks. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. We appreciate you. Walter also saying, you guys are the best. Look forward to this every week. We appreciate it. We look forward to it every week too, because it's a lot of fun to get on here and banter and give out some picks along the way, Rod.
Listen, you guys, I don't know what it is about today. Today, you picked the wrong day, Kelly, because any other day I probably would have been like, you know what? I get it. I understand. But today, I already woke up and chose violence. So you picked the wrong day to pick on me. This show is not for everybody, and that's fine. I don't care. We love each and every one of you guys that stick around with us, that have been with us since day one, or that had just joined us yesterday and are picking up on it. It does not break my heart one way or the next if you don't listen to this show, because I don't make it for you. I make it for you that listens. So if you're going to go away, then this show isn't for you. But if you're sticking around and you're SVG over under 20 asking for a friend,
no, I stopped talking about the Chevy drivers when we got to him, so I didn't have to bring him up this show. But I would take better than actually.
I would take better than, yeah.
Yeah.
So
he'll
over
be 13th, 10th, somewhere in that range. So
right? I think the over is the better than.
I'd like to make sure that, if you haven't tuned out like Kelly, you've noted that I said something nice about him. Thank you very much.
You did. So, all right. Anyways, that's it. That's it for the show. We love each and every one of you again, and those of you that joining us.
Hey, and if you have decided to listen, Kelly, we appreciate you listening, and we hope that you're back next. And we've had other people that have made negative comments, and then they stick around for a couple of shows, and they're like, "Hey, it's not so bad. Maybe it just takes a little while for us to grow on you." If we're not your cup of tea, there is plenty of other good shows out there. Not a ton that talk about Xfinity Series, so you're going to be pretty limited there. But there is some out there, so check them out. And we appreciate everybody. Thank you for all you do. And we'll come back to it again tomorrow. Rod, we'll have a bunch of banter about the Truck Series tomorrow. I'm excited for that.
We certainly will. Well then, Cody, as we send everybody off to go banter with their friends, tell them where they can find you on social media. Continue the banter with you.
Yes, if you need more banter from me, at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my stuff over there. I got a NASCAR article out that's got the odds for this weekend, along with some NASCAR bets. Popped in a bet or two in there that we didn't give out on the show. A little bonus for you. So make sure you seek that out at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Check it out. And then, ton of other shit either out or coming out in the near future of an NFL mock draft 2.0 coming out this weekend. And some AFL Arena Football League stuff in the near future as well. So make sure you're standby and checking that out. I'm getting pumped for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, Rob.
It will be indeed. Arturo, one last comment saying, good show. Have a great night. Look, I don't got to surround myself with yes men, but if you don't enjoy what's going on, you don't got to tell us. We don't have to know. But anyways, follow me on X at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's Sportsbook Review, whether it is in between media. Check out the Back Road tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you listen to this. Seth and Elliott got you handled for Texas. And AFL content incoming as well. We'll see you guys tomorrow with trucks and then on Friday for DFS. So until then, everyone, let's go racing, let's go banter, and let it ride.